size of an apple, let's say. So this is a common custom. They take the pennies along. Otherwise, the sisters take a strong exception to their visit. Now, there was a Marasi who was a hunchback, that big, bowed the head. And his sister was suffering from goiter, quite large glands on both sides of the neck. Now this picture has to be kept in mind before you can understand the joke which comes. The Marasi was a hunchback and the sister was suffering from goiter. Now this hunchback went to his sister without pennies. And the sort of makeshift arrangement for carrying things in the Punjab is called a guttery. They don't have suitcases and these modern devices. They just put things together on a sheet and wind round and some sort of arrangement. I don't know how they wrap it, but there is a special way of doing it. So that is called, the final package is called a guttery. So the sister observed when he knocked at the door and she opened it, she observed that there was no guttery with him. So the sister jokingly referred to the hunchback's bag and said, "Dear brother, the guttery you are carrying on your back, please hand it over to me. You must be tired after all this traveling." So she knew he hadn't got anything, so it was a joke on his being a hunchback. He said, "The guttery you are carrying on your back, please hand it over to me." So he was also a Marasi, of course. So he retorted immediately, "Swallow the first ones before." Indicating to the back, you have not swallowed, the pin is already in your throat, visible, and you are asking for more. So this is the state of affairs of such people who have not swallowed the pennies they already have in their throats. So how could they ask for more? They have no right, and they are not going to accept anything. So this is the fundamental psychological situation which prevails when a prophet comes. So they reject him, and reject him cruelly. They say that, in effect they say that one is enough and we have already thrown the yoke of that one. Who are you to come and dictate terms to us? And this is exactly what the Holy Quran has related in reference to the people who rejected previous prophets. He says, you want to come and dictate terms to us as to how we deal with our own properties, with our own incomes, and with our own behavior. You become the masters of our behavior, our income and everything. So go to wherever you please, but we are not going to accept you. But Allah, when He decides that a people must accept, ultimately wins, because no one can fight with Allah. So after so much rejection, after so much hullabaloo, after so much persecution and torture of the innocent, ultimately they break down. And when they break down ultimately and accept that prophet, another phenomena begins. Who is it? Please don't ask. Tell him to please keep quiet, whoever it is. So the second phase begins, and that again is a fundamental of the same nature, but will not be recognizable to you unless I explain it. Once they accept the prophet, they begin to raise his status in reaction. Let's call it something else, not direct reaction, but once they have ultimately bowed down, let's say, they begin to love him so much that previously they were extremists in hate, now they become extremists in love. And they go on raising his station beyond what Allah had appointed. Previously, their attitude was that you are subhuman. You are not worthy of being called a human being. Now they tell him that you are superhuman. You are not one of us. You are far above us. And they go on doing the same thing to him. So both the first attitude and the second attitude are incorrect. But when you further examine it, you will come to find out that the effect is the same. The sum total of this behavior comes out to be exactly the same. Why? Because in the first place, when they rejected him, they said, you are subhuman, so you are below us, how can we accept you? Having once accepted it, their inner self told them that you are still big men. You never bow to a man, a fellow being. You bow to something superior who was made like this. So their ana, their ego, remains intact. They are as headstrong as they previously were. Now this phenomenon begins not immediately after the acceptance of a prophet. This is why I said perhaps it is wrong to say that it was a reaction. It's not a reaction. Those people who accept the prophet, they in their lifetime do not show this reaction. Even those who come as the next generation and those who follow as the third, their behavior is generally right. But when people tend to become wrong, and when again they begin to deviate from the teachings and throw the yoke of the teachings away, then this phenomena begins. So fundamentally, the phenomena has the same root of denial, and it will develop into a denial. I will tell how. Let me first make it further clear for those who are not following me, because it's a different turn I have taken now. In the second instance, those who have ultimately accepted the prophet accept him as he is, without distortion. And it is they who have truly submitted to the will of Allah. So their acts are in accordance with their beliefs. But in the second or third, or after the second or third generation maybe, or a bit further away, it is not a razor sharp edge that you can draw between. Some people begin to go astray before, some later on, but generally speaking, people as such, in majority, become distorted later on in their approach and behavior. So whenever they do, the reason again is their lack of practice of what they preach. Their lack of, there being a parallax between their claims and their actions. They believe in something and do a different thing altogether. Once they begin to do that, the same old disease recurs and revisits them, but in a different form. Satan this time tells them that man whom your father had rejected as a small man, you have accepted him in fact because he was not a man at all. He was Superman. He was son of God. He was brother to God. He was equal to God. He shared the kingdom of heavens and earth with God. And he was one of them. Ultimately, the whole issue is confused, and they say that we bow down because he was different. He was not a man at all, but to a man we are not going to bow down. So now they are set for the next stage. That again is a stage of denial. And in this process, sometimes another phenomena intermingles. And that is the phenomena again of rejection, but of a different, slightly different expression, I should say. A different manifestation of their rejection.